Welcome to the Tresserhorn Estate, and thank you so much for deciding to stay here. Now, as far as our opening hand goes, we've got one colorless land, and that doesn't sound that good, so let's go and mulligan. And, ooh, I like everything else. Opponent's on the play. If we, if we rip into, like, yeah, we can't keep on this. I like everything in this hand, but with basically another colorless land, this doesn't sound that good. So let's go one more mulligan. And we're going to keep on this one. So we do have to put, it looks like 2 cards on the bottom of our library. It puts Fire Streaker on the bottom. And just so we have some sort of board state to look forward to, let's put Assault Strobe on the bottom. As much as I would love to have that for Lord Tresserhorn, we need to have at least some basic building blocks in our hand, and I kind of like this. So, but yes, welcome to Lord Tresserhorn Estates. I'm so happy that you decided to stay here at this Airbnb, or this bed and breakfast with the Tresserhorn Estate. Hopefully we get to take you out to the back and put you on this wood chopping block and chop your head off. I think that would be a fun way to wrap up the weekend, and that's pretty much always the 5-star treatment that we try to give all the people who stay here. So anyway, look forward to that. We're playing Lord Tresserhorn. Whenever Lord Tresserhorn enters the battlefield, we lose 2 lives, sacrifice 2 creatures, and target opponent draws 2 cards. Then for a black mana activation, regenerate Lord Tresserhorn. So let's lead off with Wooded Foothills. And we're just going to go ahead and grab a blue-red source. We'll go and grab Steam Vents. That way we can have that come into play tapped. And where are you, Steam Vents? There we go. Not going to pay 2. Yeah, because we don't have anything for 1. And then pass it back over to our opponent. So playing against Morophon the Boundless. Changeling, as Morophon enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Then spells of the chosen creature type you cast cost Wooburg less to cast. It only reduces the amount of colored mana you can spend to cast that spell. And then other creatures you control of the chosen color get +1/+1 until end of turn. So we'll see what sort of flavor of Morophon we're playing against. I hadn't played against him in a minute, so him or her, whatever that may be. But it's always fun to get to play against Morophon. But we did cover both commanders. Leave a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. They are the concierge for Lord Tresserhorn Estate. So if you have any problems, be sure to head on over there. If we accidentally chop your head off, they do have some sort of medical services to where we can try to reattach it. But with the other Halloween decks we've done, typically we'll try to turn you into a zombie token for the cards at MTGOTraders. So head on over there. Also, quick shout out to inkgaming.com. You can use coupon code JOLT to get 10% off anything off the website. So if you've not trick-or-treated yourself this Halloween season, make sure you get yourself a nice little treat. And last but not least, I started a Patreon. So if you'd like to contribute to the Patreon, there's a link down in the description below. Get your name at the beginning or the ending of the credits to help support cool content like this. And if you can't do that, hey, no problem. Just tell somebody about the channel. So now it's officially free time. Let's have some fun. So Temple of Epiphany. Yeah, we'll just go and get some Scry and some Scurry. Maybe a little bit of Fever. And just a little bit of Insane. Ooh, Dak Faden. Yeah. Put that on top. And then pass the turn to our opponent. But yes, welcome to Lord Tresserhorn. I'm excited. If you're new to the channel, this is Fright Fest. This is where I debut, or not debut, but I release all of my Halloween-themed decks. And Lord Tresserhorn is... I always love my favorite Halloween deck. You know, that's it. I'm going to leave that a secret because if you're a friend of the channel, you know what deck that is. And if you're not, then I'm going to leave it as a surprise for Halloween. But Lord Tresserhorn is the second close, probably number 2 Halloween deck. I mean, I don't know. Just look at him. He's such a... I don't know. You think of a Halloween monster from a Halloween movie, and he looks like that. And he's even very nicely pointing towards the stump where you can place your head. So that's pretty cool. Let's get a quick check on what our opponents got going on. They've got some pretty good stuff. So that's going to be Anvil. Imprint a non-land card, spells you cast that share type cost. Okay, so basically it's just a reduced cost off creature spells. And we're going to see Morophon enter the battlefield with that Grim Monolith. So they're going to choose a human. So looks like we're playing against a 5-color human deck, which definitely be interesting. Now, we are looking at a 6/6. If we just straight up go for Dak Faden, they're going to be able to kind of stop that. So let's have Drowned Catacombs come down. And yeah, I guess if we want to, we can -2 on Grim Monolith, or we can actually gain control. I think Soul, yeah, that sounds pretty good. Let's steal ourselves a Soul Ring. That sounds like a pretty good plan. Let's go -2 on Soul Ring. That puts them in a really weird position to where with Grim Monolith, they're going to have to untap it, and they're almost going to have to make the land drop and go for that. So that should be a pretty good bet for us to hopefully kind of slow our opponent's roll just a little bit. So we will give them opportunity to cash in some card draw. Yeah, let's go -2 on Soul Ring. Argument could be made for Anvil, but yeah, we want a free Soul Ring. That'll work out pretty well. So that'll be 2 mana, and then we can go Thran Dynamo and then Graven. So that'll work out pretty well. Pass the turn. But yeah, with Lord Tresserhorn, this is a very unique deck. You know, we do have the ability to where it's kind of like I guess like a 2-for-1 for our or 3-for-1 for our opponent because we have so much stuff that we have to maintain to get down Lord Tresserhorn. We have to sacrifice 2 creatures. They get to draw 2 cards. We lose 2 life, and so it's just a really funny commander in trying to get it down. But the cool thing is it is a 10-4, and so we've got some pretty cool options in here. We've got Assault Strobe you saw earlier in the beginning of the video. So being able to give Lord Tresserhorn double strike is always a fun way to welcome people to the Lord Tresserhorn Estates. Of course, just like with Yargle, we are running Tainted Strike in here because, you know, if you think about it, flavor-wise, it fits on theme with Lord Tresserhorn because we're going to be swinging that axe at our opponent, hopefully, with Morophon. And dealing infect damage with Lord Tresserhorn is something that we do certainly enjoy. Now, as far as last year, if you want to check out any of these old Halloween decks that I did last year, I'm updating all of these into my Fright Fest playlist. So if you're liking, if you enjoy Tyrant Murder House or the Mimeoplasm from yesterday, head over to the playlist. I've got it listed under Fright Fest. You could probably go to YouTube, type in Jolt Fright Fest, and it'll probably pull up the playlist. And then that way you can kind of catch up on all the cool Halloween decks that we've got going on. So that's always fun. Let's make the land drop for the turn. That's going to be Graven. That's going to be 1/2. And is there any certain way? You know, they didn't even make an extra land drop with the Azusa, so we don't really need to worry about that. So yeah, let's still go ahead and get a Thran Dynamo down. So it's going to be 1/2. And that'll still leave up Hero's Downfall with Graven. Yeah, that'll work out. So we go Thran Dynamo. That's going to be 1/2. And I think I kind of like getting down Anger because with Anger, that's going to give us the option to give like a pretty good haste option. And then with Talrand next turn, we can hopefully set it up to where we maybe have Hero's Downfall online. So let's have Anger come down. Little angry dude. I always laugh at this art. Look at it. It's real goofy looking. All right, so we're going to have Anger come down. That's going to be 1/2. Use that last colorless, and then once we get down Talrand next turn, because that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, that'll still keep us open on Hero's Downfall and one of their creatures, and that'll give us an extra Drake token, and that'll make it a little bit easier for us to start swinging in with Lord Tresserhorn. So anything else? No, we're going to go and pass the turn. But yeah, with Anger, I know he's probably supposed to be a really big incarnation, but the way the card art is angled, and you've got the stalactites, I think those are the ones that come up from the ground. With stalactites, it just looks like if you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, your dungeon master would be like, all right, you hear this ee across the room, and then you see this like little anger dude just running this red wand at you. So he just looks real tiny. Like I don't know what he's mad about, but hopefully he finds some happiness in his life. And definitely, probably one of the happiness things that he really enjoys is whenever Lord Tresserhorn chops his head off to give Lord Tresserhorn haste. That's probably one of his favorite lines to go for. So, all right, we got Morophon swinging across for 6. That's going to put us down to 23. Azusa is going to put us down to 21. And then, yeah, I think I kind of like going for Talrand and Hero's Downfall next turn because our opponents, they don't have too much going on their side. And, and then Disallow too. So, all right, so let's go for... Is there any... Now, that's a lot of double mana. So we're basically going to have to leave Hero's Downfall up. But let's still go for Talrand. That's going to be double blue. And then tap down Soul Ring. And then once we get down Talrand, that'll keep us open on Hero's Downfall to pop Morophon. We are sitting at 6 total commander damage and at 21, so if they do decide to swing in, we'll probably do is just pop Morophon with Hero's Downfall. That way it'll kind of get that commander tax going again, and it puts them in a weird position where they don't have much mana with Grim Monolith. But yeah, outside of the deck, it is a little bit different from last year's deck of Lord Tresserhorn. Last year's, I think, was actually kind of more of a zombie tribal deck because zombies tend to have a lot of universal, stuff coming out of the graveyard. We've got Gravecrawler, we've got different options to bring stuff back out of the graveyard. And so Vampiric Tutor, so they're going to go for this during their main phase, which actually works out perfectly because we can Hero's Downfall, and depending on what they grab, they might be able to cast it right now with Unclaimed Territory and potentially potentially cascading counteracts. But if it's something that they really do care about, it is nice having at least the disallow option to stop that from happening. But yeah, so I decided to kind of take this into a little bit more of a Grixis Spellslinger deck, because there are some times where it's just hard to get those 2 tokens down, or at least 2 creatures down, and sacrifice them to Lord Tresserhorn. So, and if they're going to just pass the turn, let's go for Hero's Downfall at their end step. So we're going to add double black off Graven. There we go. And Hero's Downfall on Morophon. You know, if we're playing against a lands deck, we would care about Morophon, about Azusa, but yeah, they got some slow stuff happening, so this will buy us a little bit more time. Plus, it works out. You know, we are playing Lord Tresserhorn, which takes some setting up, so it is nice to play against a deck that isn't really just breathing down our neck trying to beat it. Ooh, and they run into Chandra. Okay, so we go Lord Tresserhorn. That's going to cut us off. We go black, double red, and then 1 blue. That will cut us off disallow. So I think at this point, if we just go Chandra, actually, I might actually like that line just a little bit better. So we add double red to our mana. Yeah, that's going to work out to where, no, unfortunately, because it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's still going to cut us off disallow. So if that's the case, even if they go board wipe, yeah, let's go for Lord Tresserhorn, because we got regenerate, and you know, we're here to have some fun, so that's what we're gonna do. All right, so we're gonna go black. We're gonna split this one down the middle with Graven. Let's do this first. Filter mana will be the death of me. There we go, Graven. That's gonna be black red. Tap down 1 blue, and just so we can leave up. No, actually, we need to sequence it this way, because we need to leave up that red mana. Sorry about that. With having this filter land and not really hitting our land drops, it's kind of weird. So there we go. All right, so we're going to be able to tap down blue. There we go. Okay, and that's going to be 1, 2. Let's have Lord Tresserhorn enter the battlefield. They're going to be able to cash in that card draw. Let's go ahead and sacrifice Anger. We're going to sacrifice this Drake token. Oh, look at that. All right, now we're going to be swinging in. We have 1 colorless left. Let's go and push in. That's going to be 10-4. Unfortunately, Lord Tresserhorn doesn't have Trample, which would be pretty nice, but got some good stuff going. Let's go and swing in with Lord Tresserhorn. That's the main part, is I think, you know, some of these decks, these older commanders, sometimes it's hard to get a good game in. And so now that we actually have Lord Tresserhorn on the battlefield, this feels pretty good. So that's going to be 10 total commander damage, and then pass the turn to our opponent. So if they do have a board wipe, if that's what they tutored for, as long as it's not Toxic Deluge or something like that, we can still regenerate it. But with them being strapped on colored mana, with both of those lands over there, just basically only tapping down for humans, we should be in a pretty good position. Outside of the double strike, we do have some really nice equipment in here. We got Fire Shrieker, so you can imagine getting Fire Shrieker on the Lord Tresserhorn, how good that is. You know, 10-4, bam, bam. Sword of Feast and Famine and Whisper Silk Cloak. But I do like the direction. If you think about building Lord Tresserhorn, it's a lot of fun. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be a Halloween deck. I've got this as a Grixis token shell, and it's pretty good. You know, we've got a lot of the really good 3-drop planeswalkers that make tokens. Urza's Incubator, yeah, that's fine. We got a lot of the 3-drop planeswalkers, the Royal Scions, Daretti, Dak Faden, Chandra, Saheeli. So there's just a lot of good stuff that you can kind of slowly progress your board state through card advantage or tokens to really help support your game plan. So now if we do end up finding, yeah, if we end up going for Chandra, I think we just get it. We just go -X. Yeah, I think that'd be good. Yeah, so we go Chandra, deals X damage to each creature. If we go X for 2, unfortunately we're going to lose Talran, but hey, this is the Lord Tresserhorn Estates, so got to do what you got to do. All right, that's going to be 1, 2, 3. Let's see if we can tap that down a little bit better. I don't think it's going to matter. It's going to be 1, 2. Yeah, either way, we're going to tap down 3 in Dynamo. Okay, so we're going to have Chandra come down. We're going to go for the -X ability. That's going to clear Azusa out of the way. That's going to get rid of all Talran. And that won't be exactly lethal. I was thinking that was going to be lethal commander damage. But we swing it for 10, 4, 2. Yeah, let's do that. Let's get some tokens going. For some reason, I was thinking we hit exactly commander damage, but that's just going to make it 20. So let's create the 2 elemental tokens, because this will be a huge chunk of damage. You know, either they block on Lord Tresserhorn, they go down to 7, or we're going to have 3, 6, and then 8 coming with Talran. So That's a pretty sizable threat. Now, if you are a fan of 1 versus 1 commander, Chandra is a very good planeswalker. I cannot. It's very much like the red Elspeth. It's just very, very dominating once it hits the board. So let's go and push in. We still have the black mana activation for regenerate off of Lord Tresserhorn. So we're going to be swinging in. That's going to be 12. And that's going to be 15. That will be 18. So we're going to have to see a block from Azusa unless our opponent has seen enough. And all right, so we're going to see Azusa jump in front of Lord Tresserhorn. Hey, Azusa, make sure you leave a 5-star review on Relp for the Airbnb. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass it back over to our opponent. So exile those elemental tokens, and we'll see what's in store for us. So they do have access to basically 2 reduced off of Urza's Incubator. So they got about 6 mana this turn. We'll see what else they can get down. But at least having that option of Chandra going for the -5. Now, if we do regenerate on Lord Tresserhorn, it's going to tap it down, but at least we can get a little bit of damage in, hopefully clearing the way for whatever they go for. So, most of the humans that you're looking to face against, they're going to have power toughness, 3 or less most of the time, unless they end up with, like, Liliana's Lieutenant or something like that with some really cool sequencing. So, but if we can jam a Lord Tresserhorn commander damage win, that'd be pretty good. Okay, that's going to be Anguished Unmaking on Lord Tresserhorn. That's going to put them down to... So they're going to lose 3 life, and that's going to put them down to 5, but then I think we've got the elementals coming in next turn. So either way, we'll take it. All right, so that's going to exile that. We don't have Disallow Magic, but that's going to put them down to 5. And then with these 2 elemental tokens coming down, they basically just have colorless mana. So I guess that was a little bit more of a message of they didn't want to die by Lord Tresserhorn, but we'll definitely clean it up with Talrand and the Planeswalkers. So let's go ahead and go for these tokens. Get those tokens on the battlefield. Let's go and push in for 8, excuse me. Swinging in, that should be lethal, yeah, because I mean, unless they're running like Dismember or something, even then Dismember would not get the job done because they'd have to pay life. There we go, knock our opponent down to -3. A little bit of a slow start from our opponent, but we got Dak Faden in here for a reason. We stole their Soul Ring, and that really slowed them running away from Lord Tresserhorn, and that's what really matters. As long as we can get a couple whacks at them with the Lord Tresserhorn axe, that's what matters. But if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks, bye. Welcome to Lord Tresserhorn Estates. Thank you so much for deciding to stay here. And as far as opening hand goes, we're going to keep on this one in a heartbeat. I am pumped. It's Battle of the Lords today. Lord Wondgrace versus Lord Tresserhorn. Let's see who can be the victorious one. So, since we do have Urborg, let's go and lead off with Arid Mesa. Yeah, that'll be good. We'll crack Arid Mesa, grab ourselves a Volcanic Island. Have that... no, that's in our hand. We're going to grab a Steam Fence. Have that come into play tapped, and then pass the turn to our opponent. So, we are playing Lord Tresserhorn himself. Whenever Lord Tresserhorn enters the battlefield, you lose 2 life, and then you sacrifice 2 creatures, and target opponent draws 2 cards. And if you're keeping score at home, a 1-mana black activation of regenerate him. And so, this is actually beautiful opening hand. I'm loving it. Let's have Volcanic Island come down. We don't necessarily have to jam a Torpor Orb really quick, so we could try to leave up a Remand if we wanted to, but yeah, I kind of like getting that down, because most of the stuff that we're wanting to hit with Remand is going to be 3 mana, so, and then we'll pass the turn. But with Torpor Orb, it's going to make it to where we don't have to have Lord Tresserhorn sacrifice like a bunch of creatures and give our opponent some card advantage, so that'll be pretty nice. Play against Lord Wondgrace, +2 discard a card, then draw a card. If a land card is discarded this way, draw an additional card, then -3, return up to 2 target land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. And if you're still keeping score at home, -11, destroy up to 6 target non-land permanents, then create 6 2/2 Green Cat Warrior creature tokens with Forest Walk. So let's have old Bloodstained Mire enter the battlefield. Now, we do have Disallow. We can actually disallow on that Secure Tri-Builder crack, and I like that a lot. I do. Yeah, let's do that, because that's going to really hurt them on mana. So I'm just going to crack Bloodstained Mire. We're going to grab ourselves I think we've got all the blue-red stuff, so this popped out just a little. We'll grab Badlands, that way we're not taking any damage. And let's go Disallow on that trigger. So it's basically like we countered it. So disallow on that trigger, and then pass it over to our opponent. Because one of the main things that we want to do with Lord Wondgrace is make sure that they don't have mana, or at least kind of slow roll the ramping effort. So that's going to be very important. We did cover both commanders. Give a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. If you find yourself staying at the Lord Tresserhorn Estates and Lord Tresserhorn has chopped your head off, I do apologize. If you head over to MTGOTraders, we'll turn you into a zombie token. So at least there's a little bit of an upside to that, maybe a positive. Your family can still see you when Thanksgiving's coming up and Christmas and you might be able to eat some of your family. So anyway, check out MTGOTraders. Let's go ahead and go Urborg. And we just rip a... Okay, so would you just straight up go Lord Tresserhorn? I think I kind of like this. Yeah, let's go for it. Yeah, because we don't have to... I mean, maybe they've got spot removal. Do we go shields down on Lord Tresserhorn? Or do we try to get some card advantage? Yeah, let's go for this. Oh, this is a tough one. Because either way, that put us on Arcane. Yeah, we're here to have some fun. Let's go for it. All right. And this is going to be... If they've got spot removal, they've got it. We're going to have Lord Tresserhorn enter the battlefield. If they're planning on going for Lord Wondgrace on turn 5, that's perfectly fine with us. We're going to be swinging in with our axe, getting ready to chop the... whatever that thing is out of Lord Wondgrace's hand. But yes, let's give a quick shout out to inkgaming.com. You can use coupon code JOLT for 10% off anything off their website. Playmats, whatever floats your boat. But yeah, off that website. And last but not least, I started a Patreon. So if you'd like to contribute to the Patreon, there's a link down in the description below. Get your name at the beginning or the ending of the credits to help support cool content like this. And if you can't do that, hey, no problem. Just tell somebody about the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And our opponent's going to get down coffers, which is actually going to help them out really well because we do have Urborg on our side of the battlefield. So let's see if this is maybe aggressive going for Lord Tresserhorn, but yeah, it is. Oh, and plus they couldn't be regenerated, so yeah, that's fine. So we have a couple tempo plays that we can make between Remand and Arcane Denial. Hopefully we'll be able to stop old Lord Wondgrace from coming down. It looks like they might have been a little bit strapped on red mana because we haven't seen that yet. So at least we got ourselves a little game. That'll be fun. Sacrifice a land, switch your life for land card, put on the battlefield, tap. Okay, so if they have to crack one of their lands to grab a mountain, feel pretty good about that. So let's see what we... Ooh, run into Tempt with Vengeance. So let's go for Temple of Deceit. Let's get a little bit of Scry going, maybe some Scurry, a little bit of Fever and Sanity. Crumbling Necropolis. Yeah, I mean, that's a playable land for next turn, so we'll put that on top. And pass the turn. Yeah, if we can stick a Remand... I would really enjoy that because that allows us to draw into that land. Then we can kind of double up on Arcane Denial just to kind of get that commander tax going on Lord Wondgrace, which will really kind of help out. The only downside is they're going to have access to a pretty good chunk of mana with coffers, but hopefully we can sequence it to where we'll do okay with this. And hopefully we get a few more artifacts going because if we can get Tezzeret down and go for that 0 ability, Oracle, yeah, I think we've got to... I think we need to Arcane Denial that. Yeah, for sure. Because if that sticks, that's really going to bust this game wide open. Even if Lord Wondgrace is down, just the fact that they can rip the lands off the top of their library, that is a pretty good thing that they can do. So, yeah, I very much enjoy Oracle being in the graveyard, not having to play around that in a Lord Wondgrace deck. We do have Crumbling Necropolis coming down next turn that will enter the battlefield tapped. So what we can do... And then we can double up on a few more tokens if we want to with Tempt with Vengeance. So, but we don't have to do for that right now because we do have Torpor Orb, which is okay for us. So let's see. We're going to be able to cash into that land draw for the turn. That's going to be Crumbling Necropolis. And let's see what our actual draw for the turn is. And that's going to be Cascade Bluffs. Okay. At this point, yeah, kind of like jamming another... We can go for Tezzeret if we want to. That'll cut us off Remand. And if they end up going for Elvish Reclaimer and get the mountain down, they go for the +2. Yeah, I think I kind of like... Yeah, and we're here to play some Lord Tresserhorn, and we got to give the people what they want. So, you know, we could play a little bit more cautiously, but I'm burning to light our opponent up on this one. So, this is going to be 1-2, and then tap down, last one right there. So it's going to be Lord Tresserhorn. We're going to pass it back over to our opponent and see if this does stick. I cannot tell you how nice it is to have Torpor Orb down and not have to worry about sacrificing stuff and giving your opponent some card draw. Other than that, Lord Tresserhorn's a fun commander to play. I mean, there's just so many things you can do with Lord Tresserhorn. You can go Voltron. This is kind of settled into more of a Grixis kind of Spellslinger deck. Last year it was kind of zombie tribal, which actually works out really well because you don't really have to do you don't have to do Voltron because Lord Tresserhorn is a zombie. So you can just run all the zombie lords and that'll pump up Lord Tresserhorn. Typically, if you just have one zombie lord down, that allows you to make it to where it's a 2-turn swing with Lord Tresserhorn dealing commander damage. And so that kind of does work out. But this year I wanted to kind of change it up a little bit and be able to get a few more creatures down a little bit quicker because you do run into some scenarios to where, oh, Blighted, oh, I forgot that was over there. That's a misplay on my part. Sorry about that. Forgot that blight. I thought this was the so when you're delivering commentary, one of the things that you try to do is just very quickly place cards in your head, and I thought this was that the green one. Even though it does say black, I just saw the utility land. I was like, oh, that's the one where they can grab a couple lands. So unfortunately, we get sent that back up to the command zone. But look at that Lotus Field coming down, sacrificing a lot of stuff. Now they are going down on swamps, which is pretty nice. I'll take that. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We definitely don't have 2 or more basic lands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're gonna have a land come into play tapped either way. I guess Crumbling Necropolis. And do we want to go Tempt with Vengeance? So this is gonna give them a few more tokens. So this will allow us to end up with a lot of tokens on the battlefield, which if I don't think we're really worried about. Yeah, let's go for it because we're going to go Tezer. We need some protection. So, oh, well, the only downside is if we do that with Temp with Vengeance, that's just going to be blockers for days against Lord Tresserhorn. So I don't think I like that. So let's try to leave up a remand option. We can go Tezzeret plus up. That's going to be a Thopter token, but then that's going to be a chump blocker. Yeah, let's just try to set up. Let's try to jam something with remand, and then next turn we can, if they don't do anything this turn, we can at least kind of go for Tezzeret and then have remand back up. And we're still making our land drops 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we'll be able to go for Lord Tresserhorn after next turn and get him back out there. Eventually they'll run out of resources to stop old Lord Tresserhorn from making sure that they don't have a good Halloween. All right, so we're going to have Vesuva enter the battlefield. Probably going to... Okay, they're going to go for Lotus Field. All right. Sacrifice 2 lands. Let's see what they target off this. Yeah, Command Tower and Forest. So that's going to be 3, 6. Yeah, it's a pretty good chunk of mana with that, with Lotus Field. So, okay, so they're going to sacrifice Command Tower and then that Forest. So that's going to be 5 floating mana, which still doesn't really get them Lord of Windgrace. And I don't think we have Wasteland in here. Because we had Wasteland, well, even then we can't target Lotus Field, but that would be pretty cool. Liliana for triple black. Yeah, let's send that into remand. Because they can recast it if they want to. At least we'll be able to cash in a card draw. But Liliana, that's really going to complicate our game plan, especially Lord Tresserhorn. Ooh, they run into Dak Faden. That'll give us some pretty good card advantage. Because that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... if we hit a land that comes into play untapped, that'll allow us to go for both dueling planeswalkers, so that'll be a pretty good option for us. And it looks like with that last bit of mana, they're going to go for Kodama's Reach. It's going to be a mountain on the battlefield and then a forest into their hands. So let's get this popped out just a little bit and see what else they have. All right, Life from the Loam. All right, so they're starting to get some good dredge options going. All right, knock us down to... Ooh, and then we rip into Ancient Tomb. Okay. Now with Liliana, we're staring down Liliana. We don't really want to go for that. And so that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's going to be just enough to go for Tezzeret and Dak Faden. There's no artifacts that we can gain control of. But I do like at least kind of looting first with Dak Faden. Maybe we get lucky and run into some planeswalkers. Or maybe some artifacts to help us with the count. And then that's going to leave just enough. Yeah, because... we want to be just a little bit cautious. We don't maybe tap down Ancient Tomb if we don't have to. So let's go +1. We're going to draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. Ooh, Sword of Feast and Famine. Yeah, that's kind of what we're looking to see. So we're going to probably dump Smoldering Marsh and then... because we're still going to end up going Tezzeret. And that'll turn on Tezzeret because there'll be 2 more artifacts. Let's get rid of Smoldering Marsh and Temp with Vengeance. Let's have not Tresserhorn, but Tezzeret come down. And then once we go for Tezzeret, that's going to allow us to start to really cash in some card draw. So let's go for the 0 ability. Yeah, we still want to just start drawing as many cards as possible. Ooh, then Mystical Tutor. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pass the turn to our opponent. So with Mystical Tutor, that does kind of opens us up as far as whatever we want to grab. We do have a couple different combat tricks that we may want to jam. Tainted Strike's a wonderful way for us to try to close the game out. We also do have Assault Strobe, which is going to give us that nice double strike. Temur Battle Rage is another great option for old Tresserhorn over here. But I guess... we'll see exactly what we want to grab off of this, but it is nice. In fact, I'm going to just kind of look at my deck. I guess also one thing, if we don't really want to play around a Liliana, one thing that we can do is try to go to Hero's Downfall. That would be a pretty good option for us too. But once we get these artifacts down, and if we can find a haste option, that'll be pretty good. So they're going to go bring these lands back to the battlefield. So they get them back ahead on mana. Okay, now will end up being Liliana the Veil. Yeah, with that, oh, and if they go for the +1, each player discards a card. Yeah, that's really going to be bad for us if Liliana the Veil does stick around. So we're going to get rid of Worn Power Stone, and we're going to grab ourselves a Hero's Downfall with Mystical Tutor. So we're going to discard that Worn Power Stone. And once that does end up happening, that kind of puts us in a pretty good spot with Lord Tresserhorn being able to deal a pretty good chunk of damage. So let's see where this Elvish Reclaimer wants to swing in at. It looks like they're swinging in at Dak Faden. So the good thing about that is that will keep us, keep Dak Faden sticking around for a little bit, which is pretty good. So don't want to push past our upkeep. So let's go Mystical Tutor during our upkeep. We're going to grab ourselves that, let's get this popped out. Yeah, Hero's Downfalls, or actually Dreadbore would be a little bit cheaper to pop Liliana. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to grab Dreadbore. I'm just going to go on top. We're going to draw into Dreadbore. Let's go Dreadbore on Liliana. It's going to get rid of her. We're going to go for the 0 ability of Tezzeret to draw a card. Yeah, I like that. So we'll draw an additional card. That's going to be Black Blade Reforged. Okay. So we've got some wonderful options for old Tresserhorn over here. And then if we go draw 2 and then discard 2, then we're just going to dump our entire hand. And I want to get both of these down. So that'll be pretty cool. So yeah, let's do this. So we're going to go black mana and then that. And that's going to be just enough for Sword of Feast and Famine. All right, so we're going to get Sword of Feast and Famine down. And the good thing about this too is our opponent's almost kind of in a weird spot to where they're going to have to go for Dak Faden if they want to get rid of it. If they don't swing in at Tezzeret, then we're going to be able to draw 2 cards. So we've got 3 artifacts down now. But yeah, if we go for the +1, draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards, that doesn't really do much for us. We don't really have a lot of graveyard action out of our hands. So we are looking at hopefully going for Lord Tresserhorn next turn because I think we should have the mana for that. I think it's going to be 8 total mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, hopefully we run into 1 more land. We'll double check how much the commander tax is, but I'm pretty sure it's 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, because we want to be able to equip Sword of Feast and Famine as quickly as possible. That's going to be very important for us to do that because once we get protection from black and green, that's really going to help us kind of propel this game forward. So we'll see where they decide to swing in with the Elvish Reclaimer. If they do decide to go for Elvish on Tezzeret, that works out. If they knock out Dak Faden, then that's a bummer, but we've got some good options on our side, so we'll see what they roll out for the turn. Okay, and they did get down Dark Depths too, which there's no Thespian stage. All right, so they will get rid of Dak Faden. Not the end of the world, but we do get Tezzeret to stick around, which is very thankful. And with Blighted Fin, they do have the activation. I will keep this in mind with Blighted Fin. So we'll probably go for the +1 with Tezzeret now that I think about it. That'll be better for us because that does put them in a position to where if they want to go for the -3, they can bring it back and get rid of our creature. But at least going for the +1, that'll help us get a body on the battlefield, which is exactly what we do need. So, all right, Talisman of Indulgence. That's going to be, if we're going to do that, well, we're not going to be able to swing in just yet. So if we're doing that, let's just go for the 0 ability and just cash in some card draw. I think that's good. We're going to be able to draw 2 cards. And this will really just help us get to... Oh, that is perfect. This is pretty much exact... This is the beautiful hand that we needed to see. Let's have Anger come down. Because this will kind of force them to go for... Yeah, let's do Swiftfoot Boots. And they're not attacking our life total, and I just want to make sure we have enough mana. So let's have Swiftfoot Boots come down. We're going to have that bad boy. Let's go for Anger. And let's see if we can get Swiftfoot Boots onto Anger, and that's going to give us a really good chunk of mana. And either way, we're going to be able to go for Talisman. So, and if we have to sacrifice that, really does... Okay, so that does stick. Let's go Sword of Feast and Famine onto Anger. It's going to make them discard a card. We can swing in for 4/4. And we already did activate... yeah, let's do that. So we're going to swing in. I guess Lord Tresserhorn? No, we need to swing it at our opponent, because that way we can get the trigger. All right, there we go. All right, so we're going to swing it with Anger. And let's see what this is. They're tapping down for potentially Blighted Fin. Okay, so they're going to make a sacrifice, which that does work out because with anger, that'll give us the haste option that we are looking for. And like I mentioned, next turn we can get that Thopter down, and it'll kind of put them in a weird spot with Lord Tresserhorn. So running the Swiftfoot Boots, that was great. Now how much mana we have? That's going to be another key issue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's going to be 8, and then we have to go for Swiftfoot Boots and stick around. Okay, we'll see. This has definitely been a very interesting game so far. And now, as far as me just rolling out Lord Tresserhorn like very early on with no protection, hey, this is Halloween. You know, I want to play with Lord Tresserhorn. I don't get to play with him that often, and so I'm a little bit more aggressive with these Halloween decks. And so, yeah, just if you're sitting there, oh, why didn't you do this or why didn't you do that? Yeah, I just wanted to get him out there. So, unfortunately, with Dread Presence coming down, they're going to be able to knock Tezzeret out of the way. So that will get rid of our card advantage at this point right now. The only thing is they didn't bring back Blighted Fin, though. But they can do it next turn. Ooh, and that's going to be Splendid Reclamation. Okay. That's going to be a lot of triggers. That's going to be... Oh, look at that. You draw a card and lose 1 life. Deal 2 damage to any target and you gain 2 life. Ooh, okay. So that was a very hurtful Splendid Reclamation. Let's let them get this stack resolved. Okay, so they go up to 38, and they're just going to keep popping us with these Dread Presence trick, which makes sense, you know. Want to definitely keep us off the battlefield if possible. And then, yeah, then they gain that life. Ooh, and they're tapping out. Oh, that's going to be thought. Okay, yeah, that's fine. They're going to grab Talisman. We're still going to be strapped either way for next turn. And with them all that extra mana, hopefully it's not an Exsanguinate, because if it is, Bane of Progress. Oh, but it shuts off the end of the battlefield effect. Okay, that's good. Torpor Orb definitely putting in some work with that. Crucible of Worlds, okay. Now, they are down to 1 card left in their hand. They do have enough mana to get Dark Depths activated just straight up. Ponder, okay, let's go for Ponder. Look at the top 3 cards of our library. Put them back in any order. We can go for Brainstorm, but we already know... Yeah, I guess we just shuffle our library, because even if we go Exsanguinate, it's not going to help that much. So put those on top in any order. Yes, definitely want to shuffle our library, and that's going to be Whisper Silk Cloak. So we'll at least get that down. But between Blighted Fin and Whisper Silk Cloak and then swinging across next turn, that's going to be 5, 6, an extra land drop. We'll still stick this one out, but if you're keeping score at home, it's hey, it's not looking so hot. So we'll get on Whisper Silk Cloak, and then we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. Okay, so we get to put some stuff in our opponent's graveyard off of Realms Uncharted. So I guess we'll just put Thespian Stage and then put Maze of Ith in the graveyard. But either way, with Lord Wondgrace, it's not going to matter. And then they've got 4, 6 coming across. So we'll let them swing in. They're swinging with the entire crew. That's going to be 5. That's going to put us down to 4. And then we'll see what we rip into. But... things aren't looking so hot. All right, so we're going to go ahead. Well, I guess Mana Crypt. Yeah, they've got the mana for Blighted. We'll go and go Mana Crypt. I mean, just why not? I'll force them to go for the Blighted activation. So let's go Lord Tresserhorn. That way we can just get them down one more time. That's going to be 1, 2. We'll take 2 off Ancient Tomb. Well, do we need to? Let's see. It's going to be 1, 2. Tap down for Grixis Color. Then 1, 2, 3. Gonna have old Lord Tresserhorn into the battlefield. Let's go for the Swiftfoot Boots onto Lord Tresserhorn, but that's gonna be the that should be it with Blighted once they go for that. And let's see. Yeah, good game, good game. Got him down one more time. So, but yeah, with these Halloween videos, you know, I am aggressive with Lord Tresserhorn. We could have played this one a lot slower and grinded it out through value. But, you know, it's always fun to try to get down Lord Tresserhorn and be really aggressive with it. You know, if our opponent doesn't have the board wipe, then this game's completely different. But hey, that's magic. You know, opponent had it and they were able to deal with Lord Tresserhorn. And we got a pretty good showing of what the deck's trying to do. You know, this is a great, you know, like a smorgasbord of what we're trying to do with the core of the deck, and some great Voltron options. So you can imagine Lord Tresserhorn chasing you through his estates with Sword of Feast and Famine and Blackblade Reforged. It's a wonderful Halloween party. So, but anyway, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.